What's up, you guys? It's time for another blind reaction video for a chess game. I've been looking at loads of reaction videos for like awesome music and stuff recently. It's really weird and strangely addictive. If you haven't come across reaction videos, it's a huge thing on YouTube. I'm like really surprised. But anyway, chess reaction, slightly different. Okay, so this one's been sent in by Stricky77. Who's 1154, opponent's also 1100 rated. It's a 10-minute rapid by the look of it, no increment, so let's go. We've got e4, c5, the Sicilian defense, and the Open Sicilian with knight to f3, by far the most common move. And we have knight c6, and c3 now. So this is like delayed, this is the Alpine Sicilian. Knight out. And d4. So the idea of c3 is defending d4. If cd, cd, and there we go. Right then. Now d5. So here, I mean, to me, this kind of begs e5. Now I know that a lot of people say that you really want to kind of keep these squares free for pieces if you can. This comes with tempo and forces the knight to leave its post, which is a very important post for defending this corner. I don't see any value whatsoever in capturing there, because you could just invite the queen out to the board. Okay, so but Stricky takes, and knight takes back. Now this pawn is actually hanging, but that's kind of the whole point of the Sicilian anyway. You know, black's trying to tempt white to weaken his centre by capturing away from the centre. Okay, so we have bishop to c4. This is nice. It's looking at the knight, also looking at f7, but both are defended right now. This is okay, but we can build from here. e6. Right, so this defends the knight. It also blocks f7, and thirdly, it allows the queen out, although it must be noted the queen can't come to either of these squares because of our beautifully placed knight. Now, what would I do here? I certainly wouldn't capture towards the outside, because that just invites black to develop for free and get ready to castle. That would be a real big mistake. This bishop needs to come into the game. You see, with a pawn on c3, the knight can't come here, so the knight might want to come to d2. Therefore, bishop out. Now, this is an idea. It might prompt f6, but it's much more likely to prompt bishop to e7. And then what do we do? Because then you've got two attackers on here and only one defender. You could then lift the queen. That's an idea. Or queen c1 as a second defender on the bishop. That's a thought. Or, it's a tricky one. Or, first of all, bring the knight out. Maybe make a couple of moves with the knight, get it into the centre, and then think about the bishop later. Bishops is one thing you don't have to rush too often. Another very natural option is just to castle now. That's probably what I'd do. Okay, so Stricky's gone with my first idea, which is bishop out straight away. I'm expecting this. No. Oh dear, right, no. This is not good. This is not good, my love, no. Much better develop the bishop. A, you develop a piece off the back rank. B, you get ready to castle. C, you're putting two attackers on this piece here. Right, that's three good things, all good things, no downsides whatsoever. And if white takes, then queen takes, we're ready to castle. We've got a queen off the back rank. We're ahead in development almost, right? Or at least equal. But this move, nah, mate, nah. No. I mean, you're opening up a line to your king. You are not helping yourself castle. You've blocked your queen's access into the board. Right? Yes, it comes with tempo on the bishop. So the bishop, drops back to h4. Fair enough. No, I don't like that black. I do not like that black at all. But now it's black to play, and black has weakened his kingside here. We still have lovely tension between the pawns. Love a bit of tension. Okay, we have knight in to f4. It's a second defender of this pawn. It's very kickable, but you know, I'd be tempted just to drop the bishop back here and attack the knight. Can defend with a pawn, but we can take out the pawn. Maybe the knight needs to come into play first. Okay, castles first, that's fine. Because there's no real immediate threat from this knight. This is what you've got to take into account, right? When you read the board, your opponent makes a move, what's changed on the board? And from there, you need to figure out, okay, what is my priority? Is my priority to build or develop, or to attack or to defend, right? Usually in the opening, it's develop unless you've got a very real opportunity or a very real threat. In the middle game, it's normally to build your position, as improve your pieces, unless there's a very real opportunity or a very real threat. Now, I don't think this knight poses a very real threat. There is no clear and present danger here. It can come in there, gets taken. It can come in here, gets taken. Right? Goes there, gets taken. It's not okay. Not too impressive. And now black plays this move anyway. Dude, you could have played that move before you messed up your pawns. Eh? Okay. So, my current thoughts are, I need to get this knight out into the board, but we've still got this Alpin pawn here. That's kind of in the way. I still think spending a couple of moves bringing this knight out and towards the opponent's king, because he's definitely casting that way, right? I would play knight d2, I think, here. Yes, it allows the knight to come in there, but then we move to there with the discovered attack on the knight. Knight could then capture there, actually. Maybe even queen c2 first. Queen c2 is an idea. Let's see what we get. Okay, that was the idea I had previously. So this actually prevents the knight from advancing in any way. And defends. Interesting. But here, so here we've got 2 attackers, 2 defenders. You could also take out the knight, double the f-pawns, leave the king a little bit exposed. That's a thought. Also, this bishop now is preventing the king from castling, which is very interesting. So when your opponent's king is stuck in the middle of the board and hasn't castled, particularly when he can't castle, what you want to do is just open up the centre. So here, I think on balance, I would probably just capture. Captures, yes. Captures, good. And now, rook e1. And then you see that, oh no, because the bishop's preventing it. So the pawn isn't pinned. 1 attacker, 1 defender. I think I'd sack the bishop here. Well, not sack it, but give it up for the knight. This knight is, look, black's got only a few active pieces. This bishop isn't great. It's stuck in front of the king. This isn't great. It's got no forward motion. This knight is black's best piece right now. Is there any value in trading queens right now? You've got bishop takes or knight takes backwards or king takes. No, I think I'd probably take out the knight. What? Oh! I didn't even look at that. Knight takes. He's taken out the defender of the... removing the defender, guys. Removing the defender. So he's taken there. Very good. Good move. Impressed with that, Stricky, mate. Well done. Okay, so we're going to have knight takes knight, yes, and then bishop takes, and lo and behold, look at where black's pawns aren't. There are no pawns here at all. The F file, the E file, the D file, devoid of pawns. White is only up 1 pawn at this time, but... And look, the king still can't castle because of the evil bishop of doom. Right, so we got this with a fork on king and knight. So here lies danger. Very good move, that. Didn't even see that one. Okay, and we drop a bishop. Hang on. Takes. Drops the bishop. Right, now what? I'm thinking, so hang on, Queen H5, G6, yeah? Very common pattern. Rook E1 is definitely a move. So actually, with all of that, we're actually down a piece, right? So takes. So he sacked a knight, got a knight, but lost the bishop. So just didn't calculate quite deeply enough. Oh, hang on. Queen A4 check wins the knight because the knight can't move. The knight is on a light square, can only move to dark squares. It would have to move to a light square to block the check, therefore it can't. So my vote, Queen A4 check. Yes, well done, Stricky. Well done, my son. And we win the knight. Woohoo! Did you see that? Did you calculate that? Well done, sir, if you did. Now, this I don't buy. What's going on here? What the frig is the queen doing over there? Behind these? What are you... Right, you're defending this pawn a second time. That's all I can see. You've got ideas about attacking that, but if you wanted to attack that, you go to B6. A5. What the... Bleh. Right, knight D2. This situation's got knight D2 written all over it. It can come to F3 and defend. It can come to B3 and hit the match. Or, only other option, rook E1. But Stricky has other ideas in attacking this loose pawn here. Okay, because... Oh, actually with the queen on here, he still can't castle. So he castles... He's gone... What? He's gone long. You've gone long. You've gone to C8 where there's no pawn. You could have at least tried to go here, where at least there's a pawn in front of it. Because now, my money's on B4. B4, pawn cannot take, because it's pinned. Alright, so that's pinned, that's not on. Queen's in trouble, queen has to move. Queen can't take pawn, because pawn takes queen. Bad. So then pawn takes this, probably bishop takes back. Where's the queen? Okay, I think you might have missed the trick with b4. But okay, you've grabbed the free stuff and hit the rook. Now the rook's going to come to g8 and line itself up with your king. So, here, there's no possibility of this rook attacking down the g-file. After this, you're A, removing the pawn that's in front of your king, yeah? And B, you're prompting the rook to line itself up against your king, which it duly does. Now, queen could take out the rook here, but I don't see any benefit in that. I want to play this. I wasn't serious. Now rook takes queen. Black is +2. I'm shocked. I don't see the continuation. Where's your compensation, Stricky? Black's still got the bishop pair. Yes, black has very bad pawns. These are very bad, but he's got a queen and he's got the bishop pair. You've got 2 rooks and 2 minor pieces. Oh, I don't know how this is going to play out, but let me see. Bishop retreats. Okay, now if I was black, I'd be playing this all day long, right? Because you're threatening a check with a rook. King moves to here. Rook retreats. With an attack on the other rook. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Oh, nice move. That's a nice move. Blocking all the ideas and meaning that now, because the pin is broken, the bishop is now on prise, so the bishop has to retreat. That was lovely. That was really good. And we have d2. Knight d2. Finally. We've been going on about it for a long time. Attack the rook. Rook e1. No. Nice counterattack on the queen. This is nice as well, because, you know, so it's moving the knight from the d-file, which is open, and and it's near the king, so we'd like to occupy that file if we can. Secondly, it's putting the knight onto a square where it's defended by a pawn. And thirdly, it comes to tempo because it's kicking the queen. Queen moves back here. Got to be careful now not to move this pawn, because then that would win the knight with a discovered check. So, what do we do from here? I think rook ad1. Or one of these rook moves. Oh, this one. Hang on. No, this one. Rook fe1. Doesn't that just drop a rook? No, because black just saw, oh no, my bishop, I'd better move my bishop. But with that move, Stricky has just actually trapped his own rook. Now it can't get out of the attack by the bishop. So he now does this. 5 minutes on the clock against 7. Stricky, 1 point to remember, you shouldn't have 7 minutes left on your clock in a 10-minute game with no increment at this point. Okay? Just not. And you've blundered your rook. Okay. Very, very, very silly. Okay. And now takes, and F takes, freeing up the rook. No, H takes. H takes is generally a better idea. Now we have queen down. My ticks are 1. What the hell was that? What? Right, this is totally winning for black. Totally, utterly, butterly, completely winning for black now. Right, you're +4. You've got basically a queen for a knight. And you're 2 pawns down, but you can sweep up those pawns easily enough. And you do this. You've put your queen on a square where it's attacked both by a pawn and a knight. Somebody isn't sanity checking, eh? Well, look, I don't know. We've all done it, right? Stupid quite often so inspires stupid. Okay, you lost a pawn, you gave up a queen. You had 2 ways. Oh my. Anyway, and okay, you could have captured the pawn here, but you give check. There. Retreats. What? Grab the pawn. Free stuff. Lose a pawn. Attack the queen. Come back here, where it can be taken by the queen. There is literally no way, Stricky, that you can win this game. Surely. But your opponent is perfectly free to lose it as a sovereign individual. Oh, mate, well done. You saw the hanging queen on the second time of asking. However, that leaves us 1 pawn up with this guy super exposed. Now, this is terrible. Okay, so b6, attacks the king. King is probably going to go here. Yeah. Now, you evaluate in a different way at this point in time. So what you have to do is say, okay, pawn majority, 2 against 1 on the queen side, okay? Now, these two can't move, so at some point this pawn's going to have to move, and when it does, it gets captured, right? And then you've got a king and a pawn to deal with. Now, on the other hand, moving over to the king side of the board, we have a 3-on-1. Now that's winning, if you can get your pawns up the board. So let's see how it goes. Rook here. Okay, so the idea here is rook to here, and the king can't advance because both those squares are covered by the pawn, so the king actually has to go to the back rank, and then our rook from here will capture this pawn. That's the plan. And then Gary and Freddie can romp home to victory. Okay, capture en passant. Surely you must. Yes, thank you. King takes. Okay. Now, Okay, I mean, the critical thing is stopping this pawn, right? This pawn wants to become a queen and win the game. This pawn can't ever, because it's got to get past 2 enemy pawns. Okay, so that's never going to happen. This pawn is not a game winner. It's all about this one. Now, our rook can always take out this pawn. So the priority right now surely has to be getting these pawns and a king up the board, but probably not all 3 of them because it's just too slow. But I know I've won games before when I've been without a rook, when I've had to sack my rook to stop a runner. I have won games before, like with 2 pawns and a king against a king and a rook. That is possible. So rook here again. No, it's tricky. This pawn is not the issue here, right? I don't think. Yes, it makes life easier, but the point is that if you can get your pawns up the board to say here, you push a pawn to there, and either this guy pushes, in which case you've got a massive head start, or he takes, in which case you take back. So don't think you need to use your rook for that, but maybe the rook's going to come over here at some point. I don't know. Gives check, dodges, right? That was another pointless rook move. Okay, now we have this. Now you can take the pawn. Okay. And now maybe, I don't know, drop the rook down here. You're gonna have to take out this pawn at all costs. Okay, king goes to there. Now you might just put your rook here to pin the pawn. Okay, off goes Gary. Pawn advances. I think rook b7 now. No, we're in a foot race. But this is a foot race where black will get the edge. And what you have to do, so you've got 3 against 3, but it's black to move, right? 3 and 3 and 3. Black to move. Then what you have to do is say, okay, my queen's going to arrive here. At the following moment, white is going to get a queen here, and that does not give check. That's very important. Black then has like check here, forcing the king to this square. Then we have, for example, queen here, and then we win the rook, etc. Now, in fact, we don't win the rook because queen defends rook. Okay. Yes, exactly. Now, so now comes the moment. Now, this pawn can't do it on his own. He cannot defend himself against a rook. So you're going to have to move other pawns up, aren't you? Oh, he's trying. He's having a go. King here. And now what? Now rook e8 is forced. Okay. Now, do we have time to play this up? I don't know. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, rook takes, we get the queen. So, but rook comes here, and then what we do is we go next to it, so that if rook takes, we capture with the pawn and get the queen. Yeah, rook goes there. Check. Okay, now the king has to move in front of the pawn or behind it. Check again. Oh, that's a funny place to go. I'd have gone here and then here, I think, but check, check. Now you... Oh, what? This is interesting. Black's down to 2 minutes, but that's plenty of time. Check again. Could get into repetition here. Right, you don't have to move back to b7 now. I would move a pawn. Yeah, I thought. Rook moves. Okay, still trying to take out the rook. Oh, we get the queen. That was another blunder by black. Now what you have to do is you have to put your queen on this diagonal to pin the pawn. Good. What does that do? Don't do nothing. Okay, but remember, the minute your pawn steps onto this diagonal, bam, 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 queens. That's tricky. So first you're going to have to move your queen this side of the pawn. Obviously not here. So the queen's going to have to come to one of these squares. Check. Got another check on a8. Yeah. king be... What? Okay, that or that. Aha! Now what? Oh. Got another check. Yeah. Blocks. Yeah. Probably blocks again. Okay. And now, again, queen here would again pin the pawn. Good. King moves. Now you can't give check on the back rank because he's got queens. And then you're going to be simply a rook down. Pin the pawn. Pin the pawn. Okay, pawn is still pinned. This is fine. So now, what do you think? G4? No, Freddie's making a run for it. Okay, now again, onto this diagonal. Got it. Yeah, obviously not that square. You're quite right. Attacks queen. Now, but here, takes. And then if pawn takes there, you can sack the queen and this guy's free. So I think that's game winning. Yes. Yes. And that's it. Wow. Interesting one. Now that would be an interesting one to analyse. Yeah, I think that the end game was definitely scrappy, but Stricky did well. Also, it has to be said, with a complete game, long game like this, 3 minutes 35 left on the clock. There were a couple of moments, my friend, in that game where you could have afforded to use a little bit of time. For example, when your opponent hung his stupid queen. Right? Now, yes, you got it on the second time of asking, which is great. But, yeah, always try. You always have to hold this idea in your head that your opponent might have just completely shot himself in the head, right? Any move can be a blunder, so always be open to a blunder. Interesting little exchange in the middle of that, but you earned the win in the end with a little bit of help from your opponent. But yeah, good, enjoyable stuff. Thanks for sharing. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.